good 4 months. Hopefully you all feel the same way, that I've learned a lot and appreciate everyone's participation, comments, and everything that's gone into our class. And please continue it today, and I guess we've got a couple more class periods after today. So thank you all again for being here and being a part of this. So let's start with a prayer. Nick, will you lead us in a prayer, please? All right. So who, if I called on, just pick somebody, could you tell me, if you have a secular job, what your mission statement is for that company? Or a job that you've had in the past? Or I see some people shaking their heads. Do your companies have mission statements? Yes, no, maybe. Yes.
Do better.
Do better? Yeah, that's right. Give us more. Yeah, do better. More. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, this idea of having a mission or a vision statement is a very common thing in businesses, in the secular world, as we call it. So this idea that we're going to talk about today is having the same thing for our families, for our marriages. And what does a mission statement provide? What is the goal of a mission statement? Direction. Anything else that comes to mind?
It's kind of a foundation of, where you can kind of a baseline or, where we can come back to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's keep that direction, a baseline. I really like that. Focus, yes.
A goal that unifies.
Goal that unifies. You guys are hitting them all. This is great. But yeah, that's what a mission statement is, all those things. It is supposed to serve all those functions that you all just listed. If any of you have read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey, if your companies have given you that book, or you've gone to, say, seminars, classes on that subject, it's a very popular subject. He's written a lot of books. One of them is actually on families and the 7 effective habits of, 7 habits of highly effective families. He's got one on teenagers. He's got, basically take you throughout life. He's got a lot of good points, good practices, good examples in those books. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on those. I just picked out a couple of things. Do you all know, those that you've done that, what number 1 is? Schools use this. What are you supposed to begin with? The end in mind. Yeah, you guys, So you begin with the end in mind, and that's so that's so important. Whatever we're doing, but thinking about that, if we're coming up with a mission or a vision statement for our families, for our marriages, how important that is to begin with the end in mind. And if I ranked them, he also, what I would say number 2 is putting first things first, right? Those are 2 very important. They're all important, all have their part. But those 2 to me, especially when we're looking at our families, our marriages, let's begin with the end in mind. What's our ultimate goal? And are we putting first things first? Definitely important. So, as you guys know me, you got to this these past 4 months. I like to start with a negative quote. Very famous for that. So, get us off on the right track. So this is a D.A. Carson, a theologian. He says, people don't drift towards holiness. Apart from a grace-driven effort, people do not gravitate towards godliness, prayer, obedience to Scripture, faith, and delight in the Lord. we drift towards compromise and we call it tolerance. We drift towards superstition and call it faith. We cherish the indiscipline of lost self-control and call it relaxation. We slouch towards prayerlessness and delude ourselves into thinking we have escaped legalism. We slide toward godlessness and convince ourselves we have been liberated. And you might completely disagree with that. You might agree with portions of it. I thought it hit home that we as a human race, we're very good at deluding ourselves in certain aspects. I'm not saying we do all these things, but at times we might have the tendency that if we are not focused, if we're not looking towards the end, focused on the end, always having that in mind, putting first things first, we'll fall back into what he's talking about here. We'll drift off course. And we'll call it something else. We can justify aspects. We'll say, yeah, everything's good. You can take whatever point these multiple points is here, and think about that it's okay. We'll call it something else. I mean, he's trying to get across the point that we, as humans, we have to have direction, and we have to have self-discipline, self-control, all of these scriptural aspects that we are continually trying to put into our lives and lead ourselves, lead our families in the right path. So, again, that brings us back to this idea of setting a mission statement, a vision statement for ourselves, for our families. So, if I asked you to think of somebody, and if you say yourselves, I'll have to ask you to leave, but think of somebody famous or historical that you're like, now that, when I say somebody that was focused, that was driven, had the end in mind, and their results played out that way. Who comes to mind?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, okay.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Martin Luther King.
Did you say Jordan?
George.
Jordan? Martin Luther King?
Paul Cook.
Paul Cook? No, he says no. Good. So we can go on. And there's a lot of famous examples, including Paul, that we could talk about. I'm going to read you something. You guys, a lot of you, will know who this is. I'm not going to give it away at first, but so I want to read you the menu of an individual, at least what they used to consume. This has always fascinated me. Okay, for breakfast, a 3-egg sandwich loaded with cheese, fried onions, tomatoes, mayonnaise, 3 chocolate chip pancakes, 5-egg omelet, 3 sugar-coated slices of French toast, a bowl of grits, 2 cups of coffee. Lunch, a pound of enriched pasta, 2 large ham and cheese sandwiches with mayo on white, not wheat bread, and energy drinks loaded with calories. For dinner, half a pound of pasta, again, a large pizza, more energy drinks. So this person consumed about 10 to 12,000 calories a day. For an ordinary person, you would put on 2 pounds of body fat every day if you ate that. This person had less than 8% body fat. So who am I talking about? Michael Phelps. I knew you all would know that. Very good. So Michael Phelps, he swam 365 days a year. He didn't take Christmas off. He didn't take his birthday off. And, he ended up in 2008. What did he win? He won 8 consecutive golds. I can't remember. I apologize, you Michael Phelps fans. I mean, in 12, he crushed it. I mean, I don't have his exact totals on here, but nobody thought, that Spitz's record would be broken, right? And 30 years later, he destroyed his gold medal count, all world records. And, his mission, his vision was pretty simple. He just said, you can't put a limit on anything. The more you dream, the further you get. That was his vision, his mission was, nobody's going to stop me. And he put in, obviously, the work, and he put in, the calories, the fuel. He did all those things because that was his one goal, his one mission and vision. And he did what it took. Scripturally, let's look at Paul. And let's read, 1 Corinthians 9 here. Again, Paul uses multiple times athletic analogies that, are still the same 2,000 years later, very relevant to mankind. He says, do you not know that in a race all the runners compete, but only one receives the prize? Prize. That's supposed to be prize. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. So whether it's, Michael Phelps or the Apostle Paul, what do we see if we call this part of Paul's mission or vision statement, or what Michael Phelps said and did? What qualities do we see in those two, or other ones you might think of?
Discipline.
Discipline, yeah. That's a huge part of it.
And a clear target
A target,
of what they're trying to achieve.
yeah, specific focus,
Unwavering.
unwavering,
Single-mindedness.
single-mindedness, yes. Very important. Anything else you all see?
Consistency.
Consistency,
Confidence.
confidence, properly placed confidence. Yeah.
100% commitment.
Commitment, all in. Yeah. So all these things, as we're talking here in our marriage class, that we should be applying to our marriages, to our families. All those words, those concepts that you all were talking about. In Paul's case, and for all Christians, in his second letter to the Corinthians, you're thinking about his ultimate goal. He says, so we do not lose heart. Though our outer nature is wasting away, our inner nature is being renewed day by day. For this slight momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal. So we see his ultimate mission, vision, and from his other writings of eternal glory. That's what was driving Paul. And we could spend multiple classes talking about all that he went through, all that he gave up, pursuing this mission and this vision. What he had his focus on, the eternal glory, being part of that eternal glory with God, with Jesus. So, going back and talking about or thinking about this idea of our mission, our vision as families. One thing that Stephen Covey recommends is, and a lot of other authors, self-help authors, those type of motivational speakers, they all say, put it in writing. And again, if you're working for a company, it's going to be in writing. It's going to be at the front of your handbook. It's going to be up on the wall, probably when you walk into the office or in some part of the office. And it's the same idea. You're part of a team. You're going to have your team goal or your motto, your vision in the locker room, in the meeting rooms, those type of things. So it's very important to, put it in writing. And this was going to, what it's going to provide, this mission, this vision statement is a roadmap, right? Or you can use other analogies to a rudder on a ship. It's going to give you direction. It's a compass. It's just something that's going to be leading the family, leading our marriages towards the ultimate goal that we have, that you put into writing. So I'm going to put up here just one example. And this is from a family with very young children. But it's interesting how simplistic these can be, how they can be fun, they can be serious, all at the same time. And it just depends on what stage your family is in, how your family, if it's just a married couple, a young married couple, whatever stage you find yourself in. You've got 10 kids, whatever. It's they're all going to be different, look different, hopefully with the same end goal. But I just want to flash this up here real quick. This is just an example that I ran across from the Jones family. It says, we are the Jones. We love God, we praise God, we obey God. We like our friends, we like our toys. We like to sleep at night. Sometimes we are nice, sometimes we are mean. But we love each other, we forgive each other, we are the Jones. We are goofy, we are nice, and we really like our food. So, I like that here's obviously a very young family, young children, but this is what is important to them, and for something very applicable to toddlers to that age, leading them, right? You're not putting heavy things on them, theological ideas that they're not able to understand. This is the things that they deal with day by day, their toys, being nice, not being mean, those type of things, forgiveness. So I really liked that. So thinking about putting together a mission or a vision statement, just some ideas of what goes into them. So briefly, it really is a statement of intention. And so I think the word intention kind of gets a bad rap, because what's the most famous quote that we talk about good intentions? It's not a good quote, but when we talk about the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And you're like, and that's just gone on and on and on, and you're like, well, wait, intentions are important. We need to have good intentions, right? And again, you can think about and talk about, yes, that quote can be true, because there needs to be action that follows up those intentions. We can talk and talk all day long. I'm going to do this, I'm going to lead my family to do that. But if you don't take action, it doesn't happen, and the negative aspects might, come out. And I understand why we have that quote. But as you are setting a mission or a vision statement, it needs to be led with good intentions. We're thinking about the end in mind, something that we can follow through on. And, there's no way you're gonna do good things without intending to do them. You know, they just don't happen spontaneously. You have to have those intentions to go out and do them. The fact is, you know, then you've got to follow through and do them. Now, it doesn't mean that we're always going to do that. We're going to fail, right? And that's just part of life. That's part of living. But this mission or vision statement, hopefully, another goal of it is to serve as a constant reminder. So, you know, Caleb mentioned this about it's a baseline. It's something you can always go back to. If you're failing, you come back to it. Don't give up. You're always looking at coming back to that, and we're continuing to strive for that. Because, yeah, a mission or vision statement, it's an easy thing when things are going good. You know, you think about your job or school or whatever, that, you know, when things are going well, you can look at that statement like, yeah, all right, I got this. You know, I'm accomplishing this. But what, you know, your numbers are off, or you mess up, you miss an assignment, whatever, and, you know, it's coming down from on high, you know, what's going on, those type of things, and go back. It's supposed to be that baseline that you're coming back to refocus yourself and to continue to move forward. And I know it's probably obvious, but be committed to it. And set your mind to be committed to this mission, to this vision. So those are some basic things that go into setting up this mission or vision statement. Any other thoughts that you all would think about putting into one? Comments on that? All right, so if you're creating one, some ideas that go into it, you know, you really got to take an honest look at yourself. Don't think of things that you know that you're not holding up to. You know, that, again, don't delude yourself. Just be honest with yourself. Things that you need to work on, you know, those type of things. Again, have the end in mind. Set that destination, the end goal in mind from the very beginning. And do it together. You know, we've been talking about this, again, for the past few months, about our marriages, the group team effort that they are. Have fun with it, I think, is an important thing too. Don't think of it as a burdensome thing. Enjoy it. And, obviously, it's our goal is to be enjoying our marriages. But you're setting these goals, these mission and vision statements. Do it together. Have fun with it, and enjoy the process. And here I'm going to give up some questions that came. Yeah, these came from Covey's book too. But looking at some of them did, some of them did not. These are just ideas when you are putting these mission and vision statements together. And these are in no particular order here. So what kind of marriage partners do we want to be? Who are our heroes? And I think this one would be good, obviously, with children. And why do we look up to them? What does the ideal husband or wife look like to us? How do we treat each other? How do we handle our finances? How do we want to resolve differences? So a lot of these, we've had classes on all these specific ideas. How do we want to resolve differences? What is our ultimate goal? How will we relate to each other's families? How will we as couples serve others? So what do y'all think about those? Or any other ones that come to mind when you're thinking about this? These make sense, or some you agree with, disagree with? Or anything else you would add?
I think they make sense. I think it'd be, again, depending on what stage of family life that you're at, sit down and give examples of those to your children and help them kind of understand what your goal is. And in your previous slide, you alluded to it, but make sure that everybody has something included in that statement. Companies, when they put together, they should say, I'll often ask to buy it. The company gives your suggestions so that you've got buying it.
Right.
And I think it'd be good if there's something that's, as parents, you think about with your children that is really important that you're focusing on in your family. Maybe it's honesty, maybe it's being inclusive of other people, to make sure that something like that can get included in it, and that just helps you focus on that with your children.
Definitely make it specific where it's easy to take specific actions towards those goals. Anything else that comes to mind? Or?
Don't make it too complicated.
Yeah, don't make it too complicated. You can make it specific and simple and easy to act on, definitely. So I've got a couple more examples that I'll throw up here. Here's one: to always be kind, respectful, and supportive of each other, to be honest and open with each other, to keep a spiritual feeling in the home, to love each other unconditionally, to be responsible, to live a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life, to make this house a place we want to come home to. So, again, there's a lot there, but specific, multiple actions. Their end goal, this one, to make their home a place that they want to come back to every evening or whenever they're coming back, Let's see, I got another one here. This is a more simple one: to love each other, to help each other, to believe in each other, to wisely use our time, talents, and resources to bless others, to worship together forever. So both of these were, marriage, mission, vision goals. The one earlier in class was a young family. Again, it's for whatever stage you find your family in. But again, they're specific to each family. And they can be whatever, obviously, you want them to be. Very short, succinct, simple, but again, actionable. Or you can, if you both are wordy people, your family is, you can write out essays if you want to. But again, I think it's a wonderful idea to be able to put something in writing and something to be able to act on them. So after you do get something, put it in writing, what do you think we should do with them?
Put it somewhere visual where everybody can look at it every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So where would that be in your all's homes? Dinner table? Yeah. The fridge? Yeah.
Read it at dinner table.
Everybody goes to the fridge, right? Multiple times a day, right? And it's something that everybody can use once they start walking, is the fridge. Make little, Post-it notes. You guys put Post-it notes on your kids' mirrors or on your own mirror. You're always looking in the mirror, right? You put one in your car. There's just, multiple places. Yeah, the dinner table I think is a great place when you're all gathering. At night, have it there. Make it part of your conversation around the dinner table. Any other?
Give recognition when it's being followed. You notice it being
Yeah.
followed, and you're actually going, create an emotional attachment to how it feels when you get there, and if they're following through on it, recognize and
Oh, that's very important.
lock it in.
Yes, very good. Recognize accomplishments and give praise for those accomplishments and build on them, definitely.
Get Alexa to repeat it to you each morning.
That's scary, Kevin, but yeah. You can definitely do that.
That is kind of scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Anything else that comes to mind? You guys have got some great ideas. Appreciate them.
Put it on your home screens or your screensavers, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. We've talked, and especially when we had the youth weekend, we talked about the evils of these devices. Again, and we tried to stress a little bit of the good of them too. There is some good. Yeah, use them, put reminders, those type of things on your home screen. Just keep it visual. Keep it in front of you, definitely. Very good.
Children will, they will make it more a part of themselves if they participate in it. And so, as you're reading reading it at the dinner table or whatever, leave out a word. Go around the table and let them. We love each other. We help each other. At whatever level they're at. But having those articulated, determined priorities will give them calmness and security, because like you said, you'll be able to reference them. Well, we do that because.
Right. Very good. All right. Thank you all for all those comments. So I'm going to end here. The historical quote from Benjamin Franklin. So he says, "We stand at the crossroads each minute, each hour, each day, making choices. We choose the thoughts we allow ourselves to think, the passions we allow ourselves to feel, and the actions we allow ourselves to perform. Each choice is made in the context of whatever value system we've selected to govern our lives. In selecting that value system, we are, in a very real way, making the most important choice we will ever make." So, again, as families, as we are creating these mission and vision statements, what are those values that are most important to us? What is our focus? Because that is what direction our families are going to go. And the great, most wonderful thing, one of the most wonderful ways that God created us is to be able to make choices. All humans able to make choices. What Franklin is talking about here. And our lives are filled just with countless choices that we make every second of every day. And if we're not focused, we don't have the end in mind, we're obviously going to go off course. We're going to go our own direction, which is a scary thing. But again, the way God's created us to make those choices, you can always make the choice to come back. And again, we have what I'm talking about here this morning, what we've all been talking about, is making those mission and vision statements that as a family we can all come back to, no matter what is going on. Because our lives, whether you're single, married, 1 kid to 10 kids or whatever, we're all going to have ups and downs, side to side, just all over the place. Some of it we bring on ourselves, some just happens. That's just the way our lives are as the human race. That's just what happens. So staying focused, relying on a mission, on that vision, bring us back. Centered in that goal, his goal, eternal glory. You know, what else is there? You know, and so we're making these choices day by day with that in mind, in our families, to reach that eternal glory. So thank you all so much. What else? Any other thoughts you all have? Yes, Scott.
Obviously, I think Joshua family knew what he stood for, and he made it very clear to the people of Israel. Choose whether you serve the gods beyond the river or the Amorites in the land in which you dwell, but for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord.
Yes.
And how, again, as you said, how comforting for children to know where they stand. And Joshua took the lead in it, and we've talked about leadership in here. So I'm asking all the men in here, the husbands, to be leaders and put in place what you said, particularly because Paul Cook, the educator, teaches Wednesday night, and I would not be surprised if he asked for a homework update from people. So I would put a challenge out there to all the dads, the husbands, to get this done and not just think about it.
Right. Put it into action. Paul?
Wednesday and Sunday, the last two classes, the assigned topic is threats to the home. I'll have a handout, but I want you to think, I've got several threats that I think are threats to the home, but I would like for you all to come to class with what you think are the threats to home. I kidded Scott, well, I wasn't joking, I was serious. He took the easy class period the other day about the favorable kinds of things. So I get to talk about the negative side of this, and all. But he set it out, so he has it right. But anyway, we're going to talk for 2 class periods about things we need to be attentive to, regardless of what age we are and what stage we're in as far as our homes are concerned. And there are some things that are obviously a greater impact on those who have children still in the home, but old people have threats too. So some threats are there regardless of age and regardless of status in marriage, and then there's some that are more specific. So I think I have 10 or 12 on my list, so I'll see how many you all can come up with.
All right, so homework is begin a mission statement and then come up with what you think is the biggest threat to the home.
And we might also think about whether, which is more critical, internal threats to the home or external.
Okay. Very good. Anything else you all have? Thank you for a good class. Appreciate it. I'll give you 30 seconds. All right.